Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to give you guys a heads up on Green Man Gaming's absolutely awesome summer sale that is running right now. And if you are an XP member, boy oh boy, you are going to be eating good as far as picking up some of these deals, because you're talking about ridiculously great deals on a lot of these titles. There's a lot of stuff. I'm barely gonna scratch the surface in this video, so keep that in mind. But let's go over some of the deals that really stood out to me in terms of value. Hogwarts Legacy right off the top, and we're gonna go over the prices for XP members. 66% off for $20.40. Think that's an absolutely tremendous deal for Hogwarts Legacy. A game that, you know, I really enjoyed because I actually appreciated its smaller scale in open world game design. I feel like it wasn't bloated with a lot of content, but it was a nice open world to explore, had a good amount of content, and then you could beat it in a rather, you know, a rather normal amount of time. I don't need 80 to 100 hours. The 30 to 40 hours Hogwarts Legacy gave me, I think, is perfect. $20.40, I think, is a great deal for it. And I'm not even a Harry Potter fan, but really enjoyed it from a gameplay standpoint and overall had a great time with it. Hitman World of Assassination is $23.80. This sounds expensive, but given all the content that you're getting, Hitman 3, Access Pass of Hitman 1, Hitman 1 Game of the Year, Hitman 2, and a bunch of Hitman 3 content on top of that as well. It's a lot of content for your dollar, so if you want some action stealth gameplay and done pretty damn well, $23.80 for that is quite good. Square Enix deals are absolutely tremendous in this sale. XP members are able to pick up NieR Automata Game of the YoRHa Edition. Without a doubt, the cheapest I've ever seen this game, $13.12. What a deal for NieR Automata. An absolutely fantastic action RPG, tremendous soundtrack, great game. I'm actually watching the NieR Automata anime right now, and I'm quite enjoying that as well. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend that be the only way you consume NieR Automata, but as a fan of the game, as an accessory piece of content, I think it's pretty good. Soundtrack again, NieR Automata's music is great, and $13.12 for that is fantastic. NieR Replicant, the upgrade or remake, whatever you want to call it, $19.68. So NieR Replicant is not as good as NieR Automata. I think most people will agree on that. However, it is still a really freaking good game. I think the gameplay is pretty good, not as good as Automata. The story is still quite compelling, and the soundtrack, once again, is excellent. Visually, does show its age a little bit. I mean, it is an upgraded release of a 2010 PS3 RPG, so just keep that in mind, but sub $20 for that, I think, is pretty good. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Speaking of games that are a little bit older, this is an upgraded release of a 2008 PSP game. Now, this is the prequel to Final Fantasy VII, centering around Zack, who I highly recommend you are familiar with his story before you play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And, yeah, this is a game that I think everybody should play. It's obviously a bit dated. They did what they could to try to upgrade the game and make some quality of life improvements, and they certainly did do that. And it is a fairly short game. Like Crisis Core, if you just go through the main story, you can literally beat it in like 15 hours. So keep that in mind as well. But, you know, not a great price given that it's $20.50 and it's a PSP game at the end of the day. But, you know, JRPG fans are going to be JRPG fans, and you'll probably check it out. So there you go with that. Star Ocean: The Second Story Arc. Speaking of PSP games that quite could be overpriced, this is a remake of Star Ocean 2, and it's done in the HD 2D style. It is fantastic. I don't have the craziest affinity towards Star Ocean as an IP, but I have enjoyed the games in the past. This is probably my favorite Star Ocean game that I've played. The visuals are great, the characters are likable, the story isn't anything blow away, but overall really did have a good time. Soundtrack is great as well, and visually, obviously. If you like the HD 2D aesthetic, you'll quite like Star Ocean: The Second Story. $28.69 for that. Not a bad pickup. It just came out back in, I want to say, November of last year, so still a fairly recent release. Resident Evil 4 Remake, 33% off for $26.69. This is just 33% off for everybody. RE4 Remake is a remake of one of the greatest games of all time. And when you take one of the greatest games of all time and you remake it with a talented studio behind it, you get one of the greatest games of all time again. The RE4 remake is absolutely tremendous, and I thought it was a great remake, and this is coming from somebody that did play RE4 growing up, and I loved this remake. So much replayability. Like, Resident Evil is one of those franchises where the games I actually do find enjoyment of going through the games multiple times. $26.69 for that is great. Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remaster, 67% off for $9.84. Final Fantasy X is absolutely iconic. It's one of the standout JRPGs, literally of, like, all time. A very, very early PS2 game, so it certainly does show its age in that regard. Final Fantasy X-2 is the interesting one. It gets hated on quite a bit. I don't think it's as bad as people say it is, and if you look at it from, like, a Metacritic standpoint, FF10-2 is really well received. Take Metacritic scores for what you will, but I think it's a worthwhile time. As long as you go into it with your expectations tempered, you can have a pretty good time with it. $9.84 for Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remaster. I think that's a pretty good deal. Final Fantasy 15 is 67% off for $11.48. 15 is like the black sheep of the Final Fantasy franchise. I was looking forward to this game for literally a decade, going back to when it was revealed as Final Fantasy Versus 13. The game narratively is an absolute train wreck. It does come together a little bit nicer with the Windows Edition because it includes the DLC that really should have been in the game from the get-go and some other bonuses. If you watch the movie, if you watch, like, I believe it's a 4-episode anime series that they have out, it does tie everything in together a little bit nicer. But FF15 to me is still a game that is kind of all over the place. But for $11 and change, you still get a gorgeous open world, a pretty enjoyable combat system, albeit a bit mindless, a great soundtrack as well. I would say for this price, it's definitely a good pickup. Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition is $9, which is insane because you got Cyber Sleuth and Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. You know, lengthy JRPGs, a lot of reused content across the two games, but overall, quite well done, and I am a Digimon fanboy, so obviously I'm going to enjoy it quite a bit. $9 on that, pretty good. Tales of Arise is down to $9, which is actually insane. For the base game of Tales of Arise for $9, that's ridiculous. The Beyond the Dawn edition, which includes the expansion, is $27. The Beyond the Dawn is very mid, so you don't even have to get that. The base game will offer you quite a good time. $9 for that is great. And then Tales of Berseria is $4.50. That's a great deal as well. Certainly do check that out. I know you guys, a lot of JRPG talk, but you know, these are some of the best deals on this sale. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot Legendary Edition is down to $27. This is a great deal with all the content that you get. So you get the base DBZ Kakarot game, you get Season Pass 1 and Season Pass 2. And Season Pass 2 alone goes for $40. So yeah, $27. If you don't own DBZ Kakarot yet, this is a great deal. And Kakarot itself is a great retelling of the DBZ story from the beginning of Z all the way up until Goku's fight with Boo, and the DLC does add some cool stuff. The Future Trunks timeline episode, the World Tournament from the original Dragon Ball, you've got a Bardock episode in there, some Dragon Ball Super stuff, yeah, some pretty cool stuff all around there, so check that out. And lastly, Enslaved Odyssey to the West Premium Edition, $2.70, great deal on a criminally underrated game, really just a great game all around for that. Certainly would recommend Enslaved for $2 and change. A great aesthetic style for a post-apocalyptic game as well. Combat's pretty good, platforming's well done, camera's a little janky, but for $2.70, great deal there. That'll do it for me. Again, this is reiterating a lot of the deals that I have in the past, but Hogwarts Legacy for that kind of price, NieR Automata for that kind of price, that's fantastic. And again, I'm scratching the surface. I'll do a few videos taking a look at some of the other deals as well, so check it out in its entirety for yourself. Links in the description box below. If you do buy anything, I get an affiliate kickback, which is much appreciated. That'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.